All right. Greetings. Greetings, royals, queens, and kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa. And this is definitely the Queen Tulsa show. Tonight on the agenda, we have the home wrecker child. You know what? Nikki has lost the home wrecker award because now Jaguar has TJ. TJ. Oh, yeah. If you guys don't know about TJ, well, TJ is a lovable person, a Scorpio, might I add, and the wife of Naisha, you know? And so, you have everybody wants to get a piece of the pie. Sean Davy Way, the official King Pain, everybody's acting like they're so outraged and oh my gosh. This time around, Jaguar didn't tell all her business to her friends. And you know what? Well, we've got a lot to get into. So let's get into it. Something. Girls need love. Girls need love. Girls need love. Girls need love. So what's a girl to do? She needs love. Girls need love. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say nah. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say nah. Oh nah. Give it to me like you need it, baby. Want you to hear me screaming, have it breathing. I don't need a reason, baby. I want it till you get right. I can get it to you right, baby. I wanna be healing. I can be real good. We don't get any feelings. Hey, I need some love. All right, guys. Thank you all for sticking with me through that introduction. So we are back, and it's been a lot going on in these YouTube streets. And I'm healing. Um, I'm healing, and I just buried my baby, my 12-year-old baby, just yesterday, and so, child, I'm here today, showing up because I have a message. And I said, you know what, Queen Tulsa, you cannot sit back and just let this flow just like this. I understand it's not a Tony Braxton moment, let it flow. We are going to address it. So I did go ahead and insert my medication. And so yeah, so that's what took me a little minute to get on because I had to wait for it to kick in. Yes, uh-huh. Listen, should I come on camera? Here, I'll come on camera. Who cares, Who cares? Hi guys, how are you? Welcome. All right, we have Ariel Summers in the building. She says, waiting patiently for the Queen Tulsa. Thank you so much. We have Norris Tony in the building. He says, hey Tulsa, in chat. Sorry for your loss, Tulsa. Thank you so much. Yes, it was a private ceremony and I wanted to do it in the privacy because when you bring things to YouTube, people will be kind of harsh in those type of moments. And so yeah. It's just been a lot going on. I was recently attacked. And that's all I can say. So yeah, I'm just not really feeling my best. So I'm gonna just go off camera. Um, you're close to 3,000 subscribers. I know. Look at us. We are growing. Listen, with the help of you guys, listen, I'm gonna share it with you all. I'll be honest for the people that are just coming in. Um, I was attacked. And that's all I want to say. Um, It's been a lot, y'all. It's been a lot. But I don't want to share too much details because the last time I brought the hate crime to the internet, y'all know how they went with that. And so yeah, so I'm highly medicated. I've got It's just a lot going on. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still in the fight and I'm doing the best that I can. So just bear with us, sister. But this particular topic right here, um I could not sit back and not say anything. Norris Tony says you're close to 3K subscribers. Great job. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, guys. Okay, so let's get into it because I think we all saw the live that this lady did earlier. And early this morning, this is what I don't understand. It's like we're all Black women, we're all in this sector, right? And we're all just trying to thrive. We like to give our commentary, but why does it have to get down uh, to the gutter and just malicious to where people's calling child protective services, where people are weaponizing 911, weaponizing um, public information? It bothers me. It bothers me because this woman right here that's on the screen, she has a young daughter that sits up and watches all her commentary. All her commentary. That's all she can do to pass the time by for her child is by inviting her online with her so she can talk about other people. I could only imagine the school notes that come home. You know, how is she responding, or is she in school? Is she being homeschooled? You know, does she know her ABCs? Do she know how to count? Does she know what cat and a dog is? See, people spend so much time in everybody else's business and they are lacking parenting, and they are showing us. This woman sits up online with her child, her toddler child. I believe it's a toddler. I'm not really sure. But from the conversations, it sounds like a toddler. I don't know. But it's not safe. It's not okay. Why would that be something that you would want to teach your offspring? And the only thing she could do was put on her box, her shades, and smile about it. Is this what your religion is about? That's how y'all get down? I have questions. And I know you all have stopped by because you guys wanted to know about Jaguar Wright, but we have to address the mess that this woman is spewing. It's so uncalled for. She's not the only one. You have hear her over there spewing rhetoric as well. They are so boring. They're so dry for content. Let us see the inside of your life. Why can't you ever come on camera? Let's talk about it. We got a monster mom. We got mommy biter. It's a lot of mama trauma that people don't want to address. They pull up to these meetings and they want to get paid. Y'all send me a cash app so I can drag. I can drag. Let's talk about the Candace. The Candace is going to be very upset. She finds out the love of her life decided to move on and procreate with someone else. You heard me? Man, when you talk about trauma bonding, when you want to talk about generational misinformation or generational curses, ladies and gentlemen, it stops here. For those of you that didn't know what trauma bonding is, I'll go ahead and bring up the definition so you guys can know what I'm talking about. So, trauma bonding happens when an abuser uses manipulation, tactics, and cycles of abuse to make the victim feel dependent on them for care and validation, causing a strong attachment or bond. This often occurs in romantic, narcissistic relationships, but can also occur in families, friendships, or work relationships. Let's talk about trauma bonding. Are you guys able to see this on the screen? Okay. If not, just follow with me. Follow me here, okay? Get in close. 7 stages of trauma bonding. 1, love bombing. 2, trust and dependency. 3, criticism. 4, manipulation and gaslighting. 5, resignation and giving up. 6, loss of self. 7, addiction to the cycle. Well, here, let's go ahead and bring this up. I actually like this little activity. How can I bring it up? Okay, here, let's see. Okay, how about this? We'll get some education going on because a lot of people, they want commentary and stuff. I want to give you guys some education to, how to recognize and cope with trauma bonding, okay? And you can share this with your friends. Here, let me put the link of this article in the chat. And if you're the replay gang, that way you can also click on it, familiarize yourself with it, and then that way you can get the help that you need. Because as it states, the trauma bonding, it doesn't just happen with your friends. It could happen in family, it could happen in the workplace, and you want to be able to set boundaries. And I recommend anybody that is experiencing anything of that nature to definitely, care for your mental health first. You definitely want to care for your mental health. You want to put that first at all times. At all times, you want to put your mental health ahead of anything that you are going through. Okay. So here we go. I did put the article in there. So if you guys want to click on it and read along with me, that'll be fine. And also, I'm about to jump into the chat with y'all. So I can put my cash up in here. That is $ beautiful 070707 if you would like to donate to the channel. Okay, so how to recognize a trauma bond and what to do about it. This article was posted by Kate Dubay, January 25th, 2022, and it's an 8-minute read. So how about we just listen to it?
To recognize a trauma bond and what to do about it. In the summer of 1973, a bank robbery occurred in Stockholm, Sweden, where 4 bank workers were taken hostage for 6 days. Over that period, it's said that the workers began to develop a bond with the robbers, which grew so strong that one of the captives told the Swedish Prime Minister she fully trusted her captors but feared the police might kill her if they attempted a rescue. The psychiatrist who led the police response during this extraordinary saga went on to originate the popular term Stockholm Syndrome. While hotly contested and lacking any diagnostic criteria, Stockholm Syndrome is a well known, and often problematic, media portrayal of an exaggerated trauma bond. What is trauma bonding? A trauma bond is an emotional and psychological attachment that develops in the context of a physically or emotionally exploitative or abusive relationship. One partner may harass, beat, threaten, intimidate, or otherwise abuse the other person. Features of trauma bonding might include an imbalance of power in the relationship, manipulative use of intermittent loving or kind and hostile behavior. This is sometimes referred to as the cycle of abuse, though this term inaccurately implies that abuse is predictable. Social isolation, creating vulnerability, poor self-concept, and a sense of dependence. The victim or survivor's self-blame for the negative interactions, and gratitude for the positive. The victim or survivor's internalization of the other's point of view, and loss of sense of self. Prior experiences of trauma in the victim or survivor's life. Continued feelings of love or abandonment after the abusive relationship has ended. In some cases, there may be a sense of fear or loss of belief in the possibility of a safe and supportive relationship. Human trafficking is an example of an extreme power imbalance that can lead to trauma bonding. In situations like these, psychological coercion can change the brain, and any kindness is magnified. This concept can also be applied to everyday relationships like friends, family members, and intimate partners. And the bonding is not always one-sided. Oftentimes both parties seem to develop an emotional connection, and the person inflicting the abuse will often blame shift or make excuses for their behavior, such as teaching you a lesson. Signs of trauma bonding. Chances are you've either been in or observed one of your friends or family members in a toxic relationship that, in retrospect, went on much longer than it should have. This phenomenon demonstrates the power of trauma bonds. The way we emotionally, psychologically, and financially attach to other people makes the idea of just packing up and leaving a relationship that's not good for you much more complex than you might first think. With trauma bonding, there is an added complexity of boundary confusion and difficulty recognizing behavior that's kind, loving, intimate, and safe versus abusive, toxic, offensive, and hateful. Here are some warning signs to keep an eye out for. You want to cut off the relationship but haven't been able to. Whether it's a relationship with a friend, partner, or family member, if you've been thinking that you'd be better off leaving someone behind but continue to not be able to cut them out of your life, that might be a sign of a trauma-bonded relationship. It's possible you don't even like the other person, and you may have thought about leaving several times but ultimately couldn't surmount an inexplicable pull to stay. Or maybe you feel sick and full of panic when you're away from them, even though being with them is toxic. Of note, some people are in situations where they are too afraid to leave an abusive relationship. If this is the case for you, trust yourself to know what's the best and safest decision when it comes to making a decision to separate. You make excuses for the other person's bad behavior. If you're constantly convincing yourself or other people that your relationship is healthy, or if you find yourself lying about the ways the other person behaves to protect their image, that's a huge red flag. You may think that it's all acceptable because your bond is so strong, but remember that relationships built on trauma bonds do not transform into healthy and loving dynamics, no matter how much work you put into them. You're stuck in the fantasy you developed early in the relationship. When you met this person, maybe you were thrilled that he was so attentive and caring. He brought you food and remembered every last detail about your friends. You were excited to have him be the father of your children one day and to give them the two-parent childhood you didn't have. These are the types of fantasies we develop at the beginning of a relationship. When things start to go south, people often cling to the relationship because they are clinging to that idealized version. This person was going to come into your life, fill in the gaps, and give you just what you needed. It's hard to let go of that. Abusive partners sometimes come off as charming and charismatic. And unfortunately, they may begin a relationship by love bombing you. They'll make you feel safe, important, cared for, and loved while filling whatever emotional hole you've been struggling with. Maybe they'll call you their soulmate and shower you with attention. Then the devaluation and abuse will start. If you're stuck in the past or always leaning on what could be with the other person, your relationship may be based on a trauma bond. You feel isolated from the rest of the world. Isolation and threats to survival often strengthen the bond, leading to a greater sense of dependence and belief in the demeaning and belittling things that are said to you. In these situations, a person's self-esteem can plummet. Eventually, you might stop interacting with others altogether, leaving people like law enforcement, healthcare providers, and even your family and friends feeling unsafe or untrustworthy. You're growing numb to the toxic dynamic and abuse. Traumatic and abusive relationships can leave people feeling afraid, confused, and lost. It's extremely hard to pick up the pieces and learn how to set healthy boundaries or create a safe environment for yourself. Instead, some people might dissociate or feel numb as a way to cope. You may even turn to alcohol or other mood-altering substances to get by. If you're beginning to settle into the mistreatment and feel that you deserve it or it's all you're going to get, that's a sign of a trauma bond. If a loved one was in this relationship, you'd want them out. Imagine your best friend was in this same relationship. Could you see the signs of abuse and toxicity from a mile away? Would you want them out? If your relationship with another person is such that you wouldn't wish it on any of your loved ones, it's likely built on a trauma bond. The relationship brings you back to toxic dynamics from childhood. Consider whether your current relationship has parallels with unhealthy or harmful relationships you had as a young child. When people are abused as young children, it can impact the types of relationships they form as an adult. You might recognize that you're repeating the same abusive dynamics that you had with a parent or caregiver when you were a child. Some theorize that this happens because we are unconsciously trying to heal our past attachment wounds by getting into the same situation and hopefully making it better this time. Unfortunately, the trauma-bonded relationship won't give you the type of healing that you are seeking. What to do if you're in a trauma-bonded relationship? It's not easy to break a trauma bond once and for all, but it is possible. Here are some tips that might help you to break free. Put your safety first. If you fear for your safety, work with your therapist or a trusted person to develop a safety plan for how to leave. Limit the people you share the information with to the bare minimum, and protect yourself by not letting your partner in on your thinking. Cut off contact. Once you begin the process of separation, your experience of the trauma bond may become more intense and draw you back to the person. The loss of this relationship will often feel like a deep and painful loss. Stopping all communication, or as much as possible, depending on whether you have shared property, pets, or kids, is the best way to recover yourself. Some people tend to wear rose-colored lenses when they look back on a toxic relationship and only remember the good times. If that sounds like you, when you're tempted to reach out, remind yourself of why you left. Trust that it will get easier with time. Write down your boundaries. Taking some time to journal about what you're looking for in a friend or partner and what behavior you'll compromise on versus what you absolutely won't put up with is a great way to organize your thoughts and know what types of relationships you want to build going forward. Think about interactions and behaviors in your trauma-bonded dynamic that you don't want to repeat, and take note of any red flags that you can look out for in future partners. Make space for healthy relationships. If you're used to having toxic people in your life, and it feels normal to be demeaned and belittled by your loved ones, focus on developing relationships with people who offer you kindness, respect, and compassion. Demonstrate those things in return, and you'll develop a supportive network around you. If you're feeling alone, talk about this in therapy, and you can work together to process your feelings and come up with a plan. You might join a support group, connect with people from your faith, or meet up with people doing the activities you love to do. It's been hard to meet new people during the pandemic. Perhaps you can have a video call with an old friend and start there. You'll be surprised at how open people can be when you reach out to connect. When you're coming out of a trauma-bonded relationship, you'll be vulnerable and in a place of self-discovery. For this reason, it might be best to focus on developing solid, healthy, and stable friendships before venturing into the dating world. Try something new. Isolation only strengthens the trauma bond and increases your dependence on the toxic and abusive relationship. If you're able to put yourself out there and try something new, maybe a hiking group, language class, gym membership, yoga, painting, or any other activity that piques your interest, your self-esteem will grow. There are many groups and classes that have continued online during the pandemic. As you engage in more self-care and activities that feel enriching, you'll also have more to turn your attention to once you separate yourself from the trauma bond. Educate yourself. Reading this article is a great start. As you begin to differentiate your trauma bond from feelings of love and respect, you'll be better equipped to see your relationship for what it is and create the space you need to heal. When you understand what's pulling towards the relationship, you can also begin to work through any underlying issues and heal deeper wounds. Talk to your therapist. You can always check that your online therapist has experience working with relationship abuse, trauma bonding, and attachment issues. If you feel a connection and sense of trust with them, that can go a long way towards healing. If you haven't started yet or aren't sure what to expect in therapy, you'll focus on finding yourself outside of this toxic dynamic and trauma bond, understand some of the factors that drew you into the relationship and work through those, rebuild your self-esteem, and explore how to set healthy boundaries to develop relationships that nurture you and allow you to thrive. How to recognize a trauma bond and what.
All right, guys. So we are definitely back. Let me just go ahead and click this music off. Now, we all know there's a lot of trauma bonding on here on YouTube. There's a lot of trauma bonding, a lot. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Jaguar's friends that spent Father's Day. Oh, excuse me. That spent Father's Day in women's business. Now tell me how productive that was. But one thing I can congratulate Jaguar on is not telling all of her business to her friends. Give me 1 second. Let me see if we can adjust some lighting in here. Give me a second, guys. I just want to, because these lights and things are very, very warm. Okay. So we want to make sure you guys can see me. I still want to show up. I owe it. My Miles will want me to go on with the show because he would actually, if he was here, he would be sitting out here listening and enjoying the show with you guys right near me. Okay, so let's get back into it. Let's talk about the trauma bonding. Um, okay, so no, we spoke about the trauma bonding, so we got you guys educated on that. I did post a link in the chat if you guys want to check that article out and read it for yourself. Um, what I do want to say is, it seems like Sean Davy Way and King Payne are blindsided. They don't have like intimate details because it seems like TJ, TJ is a Scorpio. Let's get that straight. And so how you doing? So TJ isn't really going for the mess. And so TJ is like, I don't want to be out there. You guys don't know my name. You don't know what I look like. I'm behind this avatar. I am behind the scenes. I don't want all that celebrity. I don't want you guys looking me up, calling me, trying to get me to have an interview. If I will be doing an interview, it will be with my pretty much my new lady. And you know what? When I heard about TJ, the first thing I thought about was the Candace. I said, the Candace isn't going to like that. So not only is Monopoly on the Candace Naughty's list, but darn, we have TJ that just got added to the naughty list as well. And so Miss Jaguar, a lot of y'all are gonna get upset with me, but I feel like Jaguar she's definitely spiritually connected. I want to see that. A lot of people like Hear Her TV is very mad. She's like, why? How she get somebody to help her out? Because don't nobody run over there to hear her and help her out. Hear Her is still mad. sad, depressed because you don't know who gonna love me. Actually, King Payne said, "Who gonna love me?" I'd have been in a situation like that. He sounded like Monique from Precious, and that gave me a damn flashback that was just so inappropriate. Who gonna love me? Anywho, in other news, TJ didn't want anyone to know that Nisha was in the King Payne's chat. Okay. And Nisha had watched the videos, and Nisha had a fire burning in her bones. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't arthritis, guys. It was not arthritis. But it was a texting war. You know how you're not supposed to, you're looking at something and you're not, you're saying, hey, I'm here incognito. I don't want anybody to see me. So I can't let them know that I'm in the building, right? Well, the conversation got the best of her. Her nerves got the best of her. Her emotions got the best of her. And she decided to say that that's my man. They're married. That's my lover. Right? That's what she said. She said, that's my lover. I'm like, ooh. Well, it's a lot of twists and turns to this, guys. This is not just Jaguar met another to Candace, and y'all forgive me. Shout out to the people that are locked up, okay, that are innocent. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to consider everyone's feelings. Hmm. Absolutely. So give me 1 second as I go ahead. I think I'm getting a message. Okay. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. Okay, guys. Uh-huh. Okay, so what we need to do is we just need to go ahead and bring the assailant in. I'd say no questions. No, I mean you're free to ask questions, but go ahead and do the investigation if you have the suspect in your custody right now.
Hey, I'm an innocent bystander. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent. Come on this way.
So are you from Houston?
Man, I'm from Port Arthur, Texas, and I'm a female. I did not drive no getaway car. I'm legally blind.
How'd you get wrapped up with these folks?
I got wrapped up. I was walking down the street and I caught a ride.
So you don't know these folks then, is what you're saying?
I know two of them. I don't know the other two. They saying I drove a getaway car, but I'm legally blind, so how I'm gonna drive a car?
So did you know what happened to the 73-year-old victim then, or
I don't know what happened. I just know what the police said.
So you can't see at all?
Huh?
You can see though, right?
I'm legally blind. I can see barely, but I'm an innocent bystander. Come on, Miss Good. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do nothing. I don't know what's going on. All I know is my side of the story. I can't tell no other story. I'm innocent, and Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time. Right, these all good pimp squad.
So yes, guys. I don't know how many times these ladies are gonna keep holding it down in these relationships that are not effective when it comes to the communication, the understanding, the trust, the loyalty. Times have definitely changed. I hear a lot of the older generation saying, oh, back in my day, well, times have changed tremendously. And I say that to say a hookup is just one click away. A hookup is just one click away. Everything is just right at your fingertips. You can order your groceries at your fingertips. You can order a movie at your fingertips. Eventually, you're going to be ordering gas at your fingertips. Let's get into this content. So, allegedly, Sean and King found out about Jaguar's relationship with TJ about a week ago. Okay. Sean said, let the world know. I'll tell them. And of course, we all knew that he would tell it, Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why Jaguar kind of postponed the good news, because she's in love. She's found her strength. But at a cost. Because sometimes we have to ask ourselves, am I going to make this choice the right way? Or am I going to do it my way? Am I going to make the choice the right way or my way? See, it's a thing called hormones. You got to control your hormones. To sit up and have the idea, oh, my significant other is going to go help somebody out, and they never come home. Alexa, can you play Kaya, Don't Trust No? Anyhow, I want to say this, and I want to be very clear. To those that watch those gentlemen that degrade Black women, they look for a moment, they look for a chance wherever they can slam in there and, get it going. Wherever they can get it popping, they're definitely going to drive that right into your situation. See, when I was saying protect the Black woman, everybody was laughing at me. When I was saying the Black woman is not protected, everybody was laughing at me. Was it funny now? I'll wait. Can we please get a Cash App? We've actually been here for about 40 minutes. And I'm going to read the comments. Chris Maxwell has a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and drop down, and you guys hit my Cash App. This is a business. I'm here. I'm working. I'm in pain. Here's your commercial. Thank you all so much for supporting Queen Tulsa, the show, whether it's a like, a share, a subscribe, a Cash App, a PayPal, or a Zelle. Thank you for coming by and watching the show. And this is your commercial for being acknowledged for just being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, who would be watching? Thank you for tuning in. Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in. Even your support, it does not have to be a monetary in monetary form. You can hit the like, you can share, you can subscribe. You could, and also send a donation. You can do it all. We have Ariel. Well, Chris waves. He says hello. Hi, Chris. Ariel says, I think Jaguar is in love with the security of not having to beg. This is a very good point. Chris says, that ain't no thumbs up. It's a wave. Oh, you know what? I'm medicated right now. I do apologize. I was just attacked. And so I do apologize, child. I'm just trying to show up for you all. I'm highly medicated right now. Thank you for coming by though. How you doing? Okay. So TJ states the separation was indeed in place. So before Jaguar had come into the picture, TJ saying things were just not right. And what I wanted to know was, and I think that the fellas that had them on the panel was, how did this whole thing come about? Like, with the contact and things like that, because I know that they were subscribers and followers of Jaguar. They participated in YouTube, and that's TJ and Naisha. They watch YouTube just like everybody else in their homes. We all have access to YouTube, and so we watch, right? Right? Okay, but it's one thing when you watch, and it's another when you form a solution. Are we going to be a problem, or are we going to be a part of the solution? And that's just something that you have to ask yourself. Am I going to be a part of the problem, or am I going to be a part of the solution? I choose the solution. And that's just what I choose. Nobody can take that away from me. You understand? And I feel like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. We have to start standing for stuff. We have to. It's our due diligence. Okay, Chris says no problem. Okay. Thank you, Chris. All right, so Naisha didn't think TJ would leave. However, TJ is tired of her antics. So when you say TJ and Naisha, I want you guys to really pay attention. This is a married couple. And actually, I'll drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and sound off at any given time. If either parties are in the building, feel free to hit the link. I am very fair. I don't take sides. I'm on the side of right. I enjoy calling a spade a spade. Okay. And so I wanted to point this out. If memory serves me correctly, Jag is receiving her mental health services. Right? And one thing that I did notice was Naisha is a hurt and scorned woman. And Naisha stayed for 11 years for security. Naisha didn't stay. I feel like at one point in time, yeah, they were in love. But when you have to sit up and degrade yourself and say, hey, my spouse can go and be intimate with another person without me, I'm going to be here. I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to be here. That is a problem. That is a red flag for me. I can't say that's a problem. That's a red flag. So I'll recant that is a problem. I'll replace it with that was a red flag. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at the red flags. And I want to call it out. Let's get y'all. If you guys are ready to get down and dirty, I need you in the chat saying, let's call it out. Can we type hashtag it stops here? Let's call it out. I think it's appropriate. And let me check the poll. Okay, so we have, let me see how many votes we have, and we will go forward from there. I'm really loving the engagement. You guys, I did put the StreamYard link down at the bottom if you guys would like to chime in and sound off. So we do have 9 votes. Is Jaguar Wright relationship with TJ a trauma bond? And we have 67% that says yes, 22% that says no. We have 20. It just fluctuated. So 20% says no. Whoa. So 60% says yes, 20% says no, and 20%. Child, I don't know what's going on over here with this thing. But girl, you're voting. You're voting. Okay. That's all that matters is you're voting. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the no accountability. I felt like when Naisha, when TJ, when Jaguar on the creators panels, there was no accountability there. There was a lot of deflection. There was a vision of the ship sailing because the frauds are now being exposed. I'm here. My assignment, Goddess Queen Tulsa's. Oh, you know what? Yes, Goddess Queen Tulsa assignment is to release the hostages this year. I'm here to release the hostages. If you are in bondage, if you are trapped in a relationship, if you are trapped in a lifestyle that is unhealthy, I want to extend an invitation to you. We do have the Queen Tulsa hotline. I'll go ahead and put the Queen Tulsa hotline number in here. Okay. And I just added it so it's right next to my Cash App. I have the Queen Tulsa hotline. If I don't answer, please leave a message. I will return your phone call. I did create a Queen Tulsa ASMR. I am serving a lot of communities out here. And shout out to everybody in the UK, because the UK, I have like these analytics, and people in the UK is very high. You guys support me. You definitely watch. And I just wanted to send you a thank you so much. I appreciate you. You guys here in the United States, New York, California, Detroit, Chicago, Dallas, Houston. Did I say California? Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have people over in Beijing, Indonesia, Africa. We have a whole list of people that watch the Queen Tulsa show. And I want you guys to get very, very, very familiar with this presence, okay? Because I'm here to bring us together. When I said it stops here, I meant that. I meant that. What the devil sent for my bad and to tear me up and to get me depressed, God turned it around for my good. And everybody that's watching, and even my enemies, I pray for you. I pray for you. I forgive you. And while I'm doing that, I forgive myself, Queen Tulsa. I forgive you for even holding on that baggage. And I want to do this with you at home. Forgive yourself. Say, self, I forgive you for doing things that you are unaware of, for doing things that I had no control over and I still got the blame. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for being hard on myself. I forgive myself for blaming myself when I knew it wasn't my fault. Forgive myself. Somebody out there needed that. I want you to forgive yourself for going through that horrific relationship. You just forgive yourself because it's weighing on our shoulders. We have to forgive ourselves sometimes. Give yourself some leeway. If you have a list of 5 things to do and you only get 3 of the, well, we'll say 3 of those done, it's okay. Pat yourself on the back. You showed up. Those other 2 things, you deal with that when tomorrow comes. But let's focus on today. Let's focus on the message and how, if today was my last day, what legacy would I leave? As a content creator, if today, the Queen Tulsa Show, how can I help you? Yes, this is Queen Tulsa. This is Goddess Queen Tulsa. Yes. Do you have me in the background? I mean, you've got me in the background, don't you? Yeah, you've got to. Okay, just cut me off in your background and I'll put you on air. All right, so we do have a caller online. Caller, go ahead and state your name, where you're calling from, and what do you want to sound off on?
My name is Marie. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Okay, Millie.
I wanted to sound off about Jaguar, right?
Have at it. Welcome to the show. The floor is all yours.
Really, I don't think she deserves anything that she's going through, but I've been listening to her a lot more recently, and she needs to dial it down. Wishing I was listening to, I guess, are we allowed to mention other content creators?
Oh, yeah, sure. No problem. We want to give them promotion, and wherever the channel was, let us know where we can follow the video.
I was listening to King Payne's live, and she told DJ Genesis she had permission to hang herself. And that's just way too harsh. If she expects people to treat her with respect, she needs to talk to other people with respect.
I agree there. One thing that I don't agree with is, people speaking over somebody's life or wishing ill will, like going up yonder. I don't agree with that. I understand that we all get upset and things like that, but we have to take it back to where the root of the problem. The root of the problem is Sean Davy Way. He brought Legina over here. That's the reason why this is all a big thing, because it started from Legina and then it started, with Solar and her relationship with Goomba and everything. It was a domino effect. And I feel like, do you feel like all parties that were involved are being held responsible equally? Caller, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was trying to listen to myself on the TV, so I had you muted. I had myself muted.
Oh, you okay? Are you not able to hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I said,
do you? You said?
I said, do you think that all parties involved share the same backlash equally?
Yes.
You think so? Because I feel like people are going harder on Jaguar when this whole situation started from Sean Davy Way. It was with Legina. He knew that that was not Aaliyah's daughter. He still brought her over. They held a rally to gather up money and to cross her so she can get on a bus and go to Dallas, right? And then she gets to Dallas, and they know that this is a lie, and they're still going along with it. So I feel like people really need to call them out and ask them, why do they think that it's appropriate to make money off of the great and Black women, or spewing a story about them that they know isn't even true?
Sean David Way, and if you're in the bushes, why do you feel it's necessary to make money off of Jaguar and Legina and use it for your own benefit? Because I don't care what anyone says. I think they dibbled and dabbled in their GoFundMe that they set up for Jaguar.
You know, that's interesting, because we know the hustle is there. We know they know how to hustle. On both of their platforms, they are hustling. Sean Davy Way goes on over to Station Head and really let loose.
Oh, I gotta go.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the young lady for coming on, and you guys feel free to come in, come in the room. Please hit the like, share, subscribe. This is an informative. This is not a bash session. I'm just calling it out. We want to call our content creators out to the carpet. Why are we praising married people to be out here doing the most like the singles? Marriage is not being respected. And if you don't respect nobody else's marriage, I mean, like, this is my thing. If these content creators, y'all supposed to be friends, right? If my friends don't respect my marriage, you gotta go, friend. You gotta go. No, ma'am. You don't even respect my marriage. You don't respect my marriage. See, and people get away with what you let them get away with. You got to take your power back. You got to take your power back. Listen here. I get that you want to see the best in people, but guess what? Peep this out. A person that has nothing to lose will help you lose everything that you've got. Even your credibility. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Sean Davy Way saying that Jaguar should be considered a whore. This is your friend telling his audience that you should be a whore. You should be considered a whore. With friends like that, who needs enemies? Is the only thing that I could say. Because I was just sitting back, I'm like, oh my God, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Like, I am so glad that I bagged out, not kicked out, I bagged out. Okay. You know, I see how y'all are moving over here. Y'all just there for the buck. Any way you can get a buck, you gonna throw anybody up under the bus? On that note, give us a second. We gotta pay the bills. We'll be right back.
Anything he want with you, ain't nothing you can do about it.
Money game. This ain't the black man's game. This ain't the white man's game. This is the money game.
Scratching and scrambling most of my days to get where I got.
Not sacrifice yourself. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them.
Now, I eats in the big house kitchen. I got pine boards on the floor of my cabin.
If I crumble, my children crumble, my grandchildren crumble.
And it don't take much coughing for the master to make me have a cup of corn whiskey for my medicine.
I cannot, for the sake of my integrity, stand up here and let everybody that's counting on me crumble so I can make a statement.
Now that is fine living for a nigga, and I'll be damned if any African Guinea man is gonna make me lose all I've been working for. Now you take my
There are ways to win the war in a different way.
better learn. You best learn or you're gonna get the bloody back for sure.
Okay, so that's just that on that. Sellouts. They cater to the main. You know, I just don't even know what to even call these supporters. It's like, anywho, we'll move on. Sean Davy Wade felt that he would support a black man in the middle of this whole conversation. He decided to bring Goomba up. Well, didn't they say that Goomba and Jaguar wasn't married? What that man got to do with this? What does that man have to do with this? Because y'all was praising that man. Oh, you need to get away from Jag. What about those conversations, friends? When? Let's talk about it. But I guess y'all forgot about that. Y'all forgot about the times that y'all would sit up on live and she was in jail and y'all would be making these crazy faces while speaking with her. King Payne a few times, I thought that his eyeballs was going to pop out of socket. He better stop opening up his eyes like that before they don't close. But that's another story for another day. But speaking of getting into it and not closing, King and Sean almost got into a heated situation. But, you know, of course, they laughed it off. You know, that uncomfortable laugh? It's like, oh my God, let me not ruin this friendship because, you know, this is my bread and butter. This is, you know, my co-conspirator, you know what I'm saying, allegedly. So Sean and King Payne knows that the internet is not appropriate for Jaguar, but they are providing a platform for her to come to. And whether if it's for her, her girlfriend, her shoe, her comb, her brush, y'all already know that that woman was not supposed to be on the internet doing things. Like I said, it goes back to with friends like that, who needs enemies? And that's just real talk. See, when you want to bring out the truth, people scatter and they run because they don't want to hear the truth. Instead of being a friend to this woman, y'all exploited her mental health disability. I think it's disgusting. I think it stinks. I think it's, you know, it's over the top. You're hurting the Black community with that silly mess. And I'm here to break it up. Yeah, I'm here to break it up. You know, and I really don't care who don't like it. Because I'm here to stay. Now, I did create a channel. It is Queen Tulsa ASMR. I'm going to drop that link in the chat, and I want you guys to please follow that page. And then also I want you guys to follow my backup page. That's where I go over there and, you know, I can just be free and, you know, pretty much just, you know, it's called Queen Tulsa Talk Her Ish. And you can find me here on YouTube. Like I said, here is my other link to this page where you guys can keep up with me, because I try to go live on all my pages. I try to stream on all of them. Yep. So you can always be connected to me, and you can always jump on my website and definitely message me there. And I know I have not posted since, child, it's been vacation, and I have just, yeah. I'm working on it, guys. Just work with me. So yeah, these are all my links to my social medias. And on that note, we'll pick up. I'll do a part 2. This was just part 1. I didn't want to overflow you guys, but I did want to keep the show to an hour, but I did want to drive like the most important parts, which is the trauma bonding and the tips on if you are in a trauma bonding situation, you have, somewhat of some coping skills to navigate you until you can seek professional help. Well, this concludes our show. I want to thank you so much. I am your host, Goddess Queen Tulsa, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, so long.
What's a girl to do? She needs love, sometimes need love. Girls can't help but say